So welcome back, everybody. Mariana's going to give me a haircut today. Mariana, I would like a low skin taper, please.
Okay.
And nothing off the top. I like to wear my hair a little bit longer on top. Thank you.
Alrighty. Let's start with this.
So I have a little pomade on my
Glue
hair,
on your
so you
head.
might want to comb that out a little bit. I'm sorry.
Right.
What do you normally do, Mariana, when someone has a lot of gel or pomade on their hair?
I usually comb it out.
Mm-hmm.
I usually do this first to see what they have, and you can tell when somebody has a lot of product on their head.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of comb it out a little bit. We're gonna do a skin taper, and we're just gonna do, line it up first, do the lines, and then, well, that's usually what I do. I just start with the lines, and then we start with the taper. I know not a lot of barbers do, or some do, some don't. You know, I move my chair a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Some barbers, I've noticed that they don't move their chair, they just go around. What do? You move the chair, you keep it in one place?
Good question. So it depends, depending on the haircut. I do move around. I do move the chair. I do a little bit of both.
So just getting it ready to do the taper, you go with the 0 to start the taper up. I'm gonna go with my clipper open. Do about maybe about the width of the finger at the bottom. I don't have much of a technique or not know how to explain it, but I'm gonna do my best to explain the taper.
Mm-hmm.
I do basically that. I close it all the way, and then I do just right where the line is, and then you bring it out. Now, Matt, do you start when you do a taper? Do you start on the back? Do you start on the sides? Where do you usually? It doesn't really matter, I guess. It's preference. But where do you start?
I usually start on the sides, and when I start working on the sides, I keep it nice and low at first. And when I ask for a customer's opinion or suggestion, at that point they can suggest whether to go a little bit higher and tighter and more aggressive on the taper, or sometimes they're satisfied with just the very basic.
Okay. I know you're more of a traditional guy. What did you think about this clipper?
Well, it did feel pretty good, Mariana. I don't have one of my own, but I like the cord, with the clipper for the power. People have been arguing with me about it for a long time, but I feel more power with the cord.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, the convenience of a cordless clipper is kind of cool.
Right.
You know?
If you pull it down a little bit.
Sure.
There you go. Thank you. I gotta say the only downside to this clipper as opposed to the one with the cord is it's a lot louder
Yeah.
than the other one.
Yeah, I can tell the difference.
Yeah. The noise is what I had to get used to.
Sure.
Like, that was kind of annoying at first, but I'm used to it now. And I like the idea of the other one, especially for little kids, because like the first thing that if a kid is scared of a clipper is because of the noise.
The noise, yeah.
So the other one's more convenient when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Same concept right here. You start with, with your clipper open and go about maybe a quarter of an inch, half inch up, fade it, and then go close it all the way, and then just work your way up. And what I do is I just open it. I don't look at it, and I just kind of like go back and forth with it. And Matt is very relaxed right now. I usually put people to sleep.
Yeah, it is pretty relaxing. Some people just like to hear the sounds of it.
Right.
Yeah. I get sleepy when I get my hair cut.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Well, sometimes customers fall asleep. Chair. I like when little kids fall asleep because then they don't move a lot.
How often do you think people should get tapered haircuts?
I think it depends on how short, like the length of their hair when they get their haircut. If it's a taper, I would say, I don't know, every 2 weeks, every week. If you don't want to cut the top, if you just want to keep the top long.
Yeah.
But how often do you like getting it? Like, if you just do like the tapering, you don't want to cut the top.
I would say once every 2-3 weeks, maybe once a month for sure. Does it ever bother you when customers want to look at the mirror while you're cutting their hair?
If they're looking a lot, sometimes yes, it can be a little annoying.
Yeah.
Especially if you have, a mirror behind you and a mirror in front of you.
Yeah.
A lot of customers sometimes are like moving their head as you're cutting their hair.
Yeah.
You're like, don't move. I don't tell them, or sometimes I do. It depends on how comfortable I am with the customer.
Yeah.
I have a lot of regular clients, and a lot of them are like that. Like, oh, let me see what you're doing. And I'm like, no.
The most horrid thing is when a customer has a mirror and he's looking at the whole time like this.
I don't give them the mirror.
Yeah.
I don't give them that power.
Yeah, that could be nerve-wracking.
Make sure you move that ear when you're behind. If you don't feel too comfortable, just to make sure that you don't cut someone. Now, Matt, what do you think about barbers using guards to do a fade as opposed to doing a lot of clipper over comb?
I remember when I was in barber school, I wanted to pride myself in not using plastic guards. As if because plastic guards are cheaper, that meant your work was cheaper.
Right.
But I learned over time that's just simply not true. I used to think that maybe having the best tools available on the market, obviously the most expensive stuff you could possibly get, I thought you could execute the best work possible. But I've seen barbers execute an excellent haircut with butter knives and spoons. And I'm like, they got no tools. I saw this barber with one clipper and maybe a few plastic clips. And I thought, oh, poor quality barber, no good. But he did the most masterful work I have ever seen in my life with plastic guards. I said, I'm a believer now.
I wish I would have recorded. I just got a quick little story. Carlos and I went to his hometown not too long ago, and I cut his nephew's hair.
Uh-huh.
I went to a barber supply, and I bought one clipper, with the that were right here, one clipper with the guards, kind of like what you buy at Walmart.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I felt kind of like unsure that I was gonna do a good job.
Yeah.
And honestly, his haircut came out
wow.
right on point.
Wow.
I was surprised. I surprised myself because I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this haircut.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question, and I noticed that some people just have an opinion about it, For example, some cultures and hair cutters in other countries, they believe that if you do a haircut with a clipper, you're cheating.
Right.
If you don't know how to cut hair with just scissors alone, you're not a gifted or master barber. I kind of understand that, but the magic that you can perform with a clipper is indisputable.
Right.
So I guess it's a matter of opinion. I use both.
Yeah, I use the guards. I'm used to doing what I'm doing right now. No guards.
Yep.
Just clipper over comb, and I do the angles on the clipper.
Yeah.
But I gotta say I use a lot of my guards when like there's a little bit of dark spots.
Sure.
Or when I'm cutting a kid's hair, because how kids sometimes you have to be with one hand right here and the other one on the on the clipper. So you gotta use the guards sometimes.
Yeah.
But they help. I've gotten used to them more and more. Me being a barber for almost 15 years.
Yes.
Back then.
Wow.
You were, you weren't taught to use the guards.
Mm-hmm.
It was more clipper over comb, scissor cuts.
Yeah.
And I've learned throughout the years, okay, the guards are okay, like you were saying,
Yeah.
It's not cheap work. It's just, it helps.
Gets the job done.
Right. And I'm finishing up right here, just giving final details, clean it up. And then we're almost basically done.
Cool. So this is your first time cutting my hair, right, Mariana?
It is.
Yeah. How does my hair feel? Is it difficult to cut? What do you think?
No, it's not difficult. It's a little tricky when you have product. You're like, I don't want to pull your hair and you're coming. But no, actually, you have really good hair. At least for the haircut I'm doing, it's just a taper. So I think it's good hair. You know, a lot of people sometimes have like a lot of like and outs, you know, indents on their heads.
Yeah.
It's difficult sometimes, you know, they ask you for a taper or a low fade and you're like, I don't know if I might be able to perform that haircut on your head, but no, actually it's easy enough, I think.
That's cool.
You always want to check behind the ears too. Sometimes I've seen barbers or returning clients that got their haircuts at a, you know, with a different barber, and they always miss hairs in the back of their head, of their ear. You know, like this part is kind of tricky too. If you don't, that's why I say move the ear, make sure that the lines are good, because I've noticed sometimes, you know, barbers don't go into that detail of making sure that all your lines are straight, and even without the razor you can, you know, you can see that you can get good lines even if you don't use a razor.
Just pause there, Michael.
You're ready, mister.
Feeling good?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
just doing the last finishes with the razor. Ay, Dios mío.
Can you hear that noise in the background?
Yeah.
It's Carlos. I just knew it.
Okay. We are right about done. How do you feel?
Feeling pretty good, Mariana.
Alright.
Thank you so much.
Do a little aftershave here. And I'll show you your haircut right now.
Cool.
Okay, we're done with your haircut. What do you think?
Looks great. Hasta luego, baby.
Time of years,
Yeah.
but it's the experience you've done and the amount of people you deal with. How many people have you dealt with and cut in your lifetime as a barber?
Yeah.
You know, compared to someone just starting.
Yeah, but
No.
people will take upon the title of master barber and do crappy work. Therefore, they're not master barbers.
There's not. No, I'm just saying as far as
No, but
Because
he's
I've
right.
seen
Different-
someone with the
he's
title
right,
of
right.
master barber,
different
and
types.
then you're
And
looking
they
at their
suck,
work and they do
yeah.
crappy
Listen,
work.
if you're a barber and you only do just this specific type of cutting, you're not a master. When you
Yeah.
do all types of trades of that specific task, as
Yeah.
far as individual, because everybody wants their hair cut differently. you have your Latin Hispanics. You got your brothers undercover.
Yeah.
That come. You know, in that you have this. You have the experience on all these trades.
So people can claim just because you know how to do a little bit of everything, that doesn't make you a master barber. That makes you a jack of all trades, master of none. Because anyone can claim, right, Mariana, that they can do all kinds of work, but when the work is crappy and it looks like crap,
Right.
I mean, you're not a
How
master
can you-
barber.
wait, master barber.
How can you be a crappy barber if you've been at this trade for many years? You know, I mean, you can't really say beginners. Yes, beginners. No, and I'm pretty sure that you as an experienced barber
Yeah.
have seen different people that you perhaps you've hired.
Yeah.
You know, like you've worked around other people, and you're like,
Yeah.
you said it yourself many times.
Yeah.
This girl, I can't believe
Yeah.
she's
They've been
she's
at-
not
they've
doing
been
this
for
right.
20
Why is she
years,
doing
and I'm
this?
What is
You
this
know?
person doing with their
Yeah.
career?
Yeah.
It's 20 years.
I've
so-
known people to have license to cut hair
They do the
for
same
30
style.
years,
They do the same style.
and
of
they don't
cutting.
get better, they don't
No,
learn,
they
they
don't
don't
get
advance.
better.
They,
Not even
they
the
stay.
style.
They stay
just-
that way,
Yeah.
and I think that's what makes you become a master, because the fact that you have dealt with everything.
Yeah.
You know,
But
and
let me
you've
tell you
gotten
something.
better. You've
This
gotten
is how-
better at
This is
it.
how we're gonna settle this discussion. The ultimate judge of who is the master barber is the bank. Thank you, Michael. But yell. Good. Okay. Look at the fire. Fire's coming up.
Give it a minute. It's going. Are you filming, Mike?
Yep. It got windy.
Yeah.
What the?
More.
Working,
Okay,
dude.
alright, no hurry.
I told you to get the rubbing
Okay.
alcohol.
Alright.
All right.
Yeah, do that. Okay, good.